It has been a stressful time for the Toronto Blue Jays, and hopefully everything is figured out now because they have their biggest series of the season coming up with the New York Yankees. Let's preview it. Blue Jays, Yankees, first place on the line. It is September baseball at its finest. Every year, Blue Jays fans are like, you know what? I want meaningful games in September. That's all I want. Well, we've got them. How we feeling? Everyone feeling okay? Are we thrilled? You know what? Pressure is a privilege. Yeah, it's also scary as hell. But that's where the Blue Jays are at right now as they go into a 3-game set with the New York Yankees. And they have set the pitching rotation up pretty well. I think a lot of people surprised that Bieber gets the outing against the Cincinnati Reds instead of the Bronx Bombers. But otherwise, it's Gausman, it is Scherzer, and then Chris Bassett getting the start on Sunday afternoon in the Bronx against Max Fried. So this is, you are basically seeing, I would say, 5 of 6 that we would presume to see in the first 3 games of a playoff series. Maybe Rodon gets in there for the Yankees, but Schittler, Heel, Fried, those are going to be the guys that the Blue Jays are going to have to deal with come postseason time if they take on the Yankees at any point in baseball's playoffs. And Gausman and Scherzer are going to be there for Toronto in a playoff series. Bassett, your mileage may vary, but those 2 guys are definitely going to be there. So this is as much of a test as we have seen for the Blue Jays in a long time. And I have pushed against a lot of, you know what this is? Measuring stick game. This is a measuring stick. That this is going to be the time where we figure out what the Blue Jays are. We know what the Blue Jays are. The Blue Jays are a very good baseball team. So I don't know how many more measuring sticks they have to do, but this is an important one. This is a series to see where this group is at right now, because it has not looked great for the last little while. And even in victory, yes, it's awesome that the offense is putting up mucho home runs now, but the bullpen giving up a ton of runs continues to be scary. The starting rotation continuing to have issues is going to be something that stresses people out right up until that World Series is handed out or the Blue Jays are eliminated from the playoffs. That's never going to be something that this fan base is going to be comfortable with. So I don't think that if the Jays lose this series, that, turns out they were a bad baseball team all along, or they were pretenders, or anything like that. This is a good ball club. This is a really good ball team. But where they are at September 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2025, this is a very, very good test to see exactly how this Blue Jays team stacks up with the teams they want to be stacking up with, because the Yankees are coming on into this one with at least a bit of momentum. They have had tough times against playoff teams this season, and to at least see a dub get up on the board against the Houston Astros and against the Astros' best pitcher in Framber Valdez, and he had his thing going on. This is not just a Yankee team that you're going to catch limping in, and it's in the Bronx. Like, it is as big of a test as the Blue Jays have faced in a very long time, and as realistic of a measuring stick or litmus test or whatever comparison you want to make. This is as much of that as you are going to get for Toronto. But the good thing for the Blue Jays is that the offense is clicking. George Springer is going to get MVP votes this year. Maybe not first place MVP, because that is between one dude on the Yankees here and Cal Raleigh. Like, that's what it's going to be. But in terms of like third place or whatever, I think Vlad and George Springer have cases to be made. Springer is having an unbelievable season and has been a tone setter at the top of the lineup. The one area the Blue Jays have kind of struggled to find is a number 2 hitter. Barger felt like it for a little bit, but it feels like they put someone in at number 2 and it doesn't really go well. And then someone is lighting it up at the back part of the lineup as, okay, well, let's put that guy there. And then go into the 2 hole, and then it doesn't go well. And it's weird because you have Vlad behind you. So it's not like there isn't a protection thing or anything like that. It feels like that has been a bit of a Bermuda Triangle for the Blue Jays, but Vlad is kind of back to looking good, right? Like we had kind of talked on here earlier this week about some concerns about the hamstring and everything like that. This doesn't seem to be that. He feels like he is back to being 100% and hitting balls very, very hard and very confidently up at the plate. Bo is having a fantastic season. I believe he still leads the league in doubles right now, and like the contact rate is fantastic. The glove has kind of let him down on a couple of occasions, but otherwise it's been good. And then Alejandro Kirk is hitting pretty effectively as well. Like, this is a team that offensively, things are going, things are rolling. You feel very good about it. Obviously, the big giant red flag in all of this is what is going on in the bullpen. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, I do want to remind you guys that we are trying to grow Couch Potato Diary and all of the channels that you are consuming this on. So if you could share this wherever you are tuning in, if you are listening, you can just click the share episode button, send it off to a couple people like, hey, look, really enjoy what's happening here. Take a look and we can chat about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, send the video out to a few people. Love the chats that we get into in the chats and the comments, whether it's live or after the fact, but would just like for you guys to have more people to talk to about it. So send those videos off to whoever you are wanting to talk about with. Or if you have someone who you really don't like, just send it to them and just be like, hey, here's an hour. Go for it. But either way, would really appreciate it if you could do that. So obviously the big concern for the Blue Jays is the bullpen, right? Like, Hoffman, I think it has been good that he has been able to come in a couple of games where it has technically been high leverage, but not really. And he has been able to shut the door quite effectively. The last couple of games, like, you do get a bit of a, oh my gosh, when there's a double or something like that. But for the most part, it has looked pretty shut down-y, right? So that gives me confidence that there's at least something there. And also, I do want to kind of point out, not to be, no other way I can say it, not to be a dick about things, but the one thing we had heard, and the one look, I've said it too, is that, well, he's tired. Hoffman's tired, that's why this is happening. If that were the case, he's not coming in with 4-run leads, right? Like, if they are trying to buy him an extra day or two of rest, it is only save situations. There's obviously something that is going on. And I'm not saying tired isn't part of it. But as we talked about on the show earlier this week, it's September. They've been doing this since February. Everybody's tired. No one is waking up just, oh my gosh, I have no issues whatsoever. I am right as rain. Let's go. It is the grind of the baseball season, is that you have to go basically every day from February until October. And if this the series goes long enough, November. That is how long this season is. That is the grind. That is why only one team can do it when all is said and done. And that's what separates a lot of these teams. It's like, yeah, it's great that you can rock out in June and July, but got to do it in September and October when the games mean more and you're tired and just you don't have what you thought you had before. Just a quick aside, that's why every player in baseball puts on 20 pounds of muscle in the off season. It's not because, oh, wow, we found this great regimen. Have you heard of protein? It's great. There isn't that. It's because you lose all of it as the season's going on. Because what maniac would just go, oh, yeah, you know what? I'm going to bulking season, boys. Let's go. When the season's going on and then you have to pitch the next day, right? Like, that's why these stories come out. Oh, wow, he put on so much muscle. It's like, yeah, because he lost all of it because the season sucks. So, tangent over. But with Hoffman, if it really was a fatigue issue or something along those lines, those games where they're up by 4, he's not coming in on those. There is something mechanical. There is something location-wise. Like, the rangefinder was just off a little bit on him. We talked about it earlier in the week, where he's obviously, like, something is missing, and so you have to come back into the middle of the plate just to make sure you're throwing strikes, and then big league hitters are hitting them. It does seem like a couple of those things maybe got ironed out against Cincinnati here, but I'll be interested. And this is now, I don't want to be overreaction guy or anything like that, but if he comes out against the Yankees and lays an egg, or the next leverage situation he comes into, he lays an egg, I think you have to consider not using him as your closer anymore, because it is obviously then at some point you have to accept that it is a mental thing with, like, game on the line and stuff like that, right? Like, he came in with a 4-run lead and a little bit more comfort and against the Reds, and he looked awesome. So if it's now leverage against the Yankees and he doesn't deliver, then you have to put someone else in that spot. So a big series coming up here for Hoffman and for the rest of the Blue Jays. Again, like this is a Yankees team that is playing better. They are hitting a ton of home runs. They are still having their fielding issues for sure, but they are hitting the cover off the ball, and the pitching staff, after the hilarity of the mess-ups that they had against the Miami Marlins after the trade deadline, it does seem like a lot of the new additions have kind of settled their way in, for the most part anyway, and that they have just figured out what to do with this ball club. So this is not a reeling Yankee team that you can take advantage of. This is one that you are going to have to create your own opportunities against, and I cannot wait to see how the Blue Jays handle this series, and then to come back here on Monday and either celebrate or yell and scream about it. But either way, it's going to give us a lot to talk about. Bring Couch Potato Diary with you wherever you go in podcast form. You can check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. So if you missed any of the live stream and want to go back to it, or just, listen to it in the car, all of that stuff, it is available actually wherever you get your podcast. It has been quite the education to find out, hey, there's like 1,000 of these things, and to trying to get on each and every one of them. So if I'm not where you guys are listening, let me know, because I'm trying to be everywhere with everything all at once. That's kind of the mantra around these parts.